first of all say hello everyone who has joined us today. My name is Taroub Sulaiman. I'm senior trainer and advisor at Dubai Real Estate Institute. DREI is the educational arm of Dubai Land Department and a leading institute for the Middle East and North Africa. DREI provides resources, certification, and professional development courses and advanced training programs in cooperation with internationally recognized universities and organizations with the aim of spreading knowledge and awareness of the latest developments in everything real estate. Now, DREI has recently launched, these are a series of online events where we collaborate with our partners, experts in the market, and discuss topics of current interest to everybody in real estate. Now, today's talk is in cooperation with Heriot University in Dubai, and it is my pleasure to welcome Dr. Michael Waters, Associate Professor in Real Estate at Heriot University. Happy to have you with us.
Yeah, thank you for the invite.
And
thank
welcome. You're most welcome. Today, just to tell you how it's going to happen, I will kickstart the session, talk a little bit with a short presentation from my side, and then we will leave the floor to Dr. The session will take approximately maybe 30-35 minutes. Sorry, all questions, please log in the chat box. We will answer them towards or at the end of the session. Now, I'm going to share my screen. Sorry, I need 1 second. Please. Okay. Just a minute. Okay, so today's topic is about some practical insights for career development of practitioners in this business. Now, we're starting from the premise that most real estate brokers enter this business as a stepping stone or as a part-time job or something that they do until they find what their passion is about or what they are good at. And see here, there's a pun. They launched their real career. But part-time brokerage, as I discovered, when I was practicing for over 7 years, being a part-time broker is a very romantic notion that doesn't work in real life. And brokerage is incorporated in our daily life. And because of that, and because of the different chores and the different activities that we do every day, what happens is that we develop a multitude of skill sets that are very varied sometimes in nature. So you are a people's person, you need to develop some sales skills, marketing, networking, lead generation, presentation skills. You negotiate, you close, you solve problems, you learn the market, economics, how's the economy doing, you learn about the geopolitical situation, and you develop, you gain a lot of knowledge, a legal framework. You need to know about mortgaging, banking, finance, investments, numerical skills, computers, digital tools, and of course, very importantly, time management. So you really become a multi-skilled person. And this has actually some pros and some cons. I'm going to concentrate today about the pros and and we're going to talk a little bit about the strengths and the weaknesses that all this will allow you to have. It will allow you to gain knowledge of who you are. Where are your strengths? What are the weaknesses? What are the gaps you need to fill in your knowledge and in your skill? So you do a SWOT analysis, which is, of course, strengths, weaknesses, It allows you to look at opportunities and threats. This is very important as well. It's not enough to know what we're good and bad at. We need to know how we can improve and what are the positive and negative of that. It will help you to channel your career and focus on what you can do better and what is your forte, basically. Now, the cons are, of course, it challenges focus. This is a very big challenge to focus. One day, one minute we're working with numbers, another minute we have to negotiate a deal. So it's a little bit, you have to keep shifting these skill sets. And it causes, which obviously will cause some higher stress levels. We're not going to talk about these today. We're going to concentrate a little bit about how, there is, which means that there is, because of all these multi skills that you learn, there is if you want, scope for improvement and for development, career development, through, of course, pursuing knowledge, going for training, just developing yourself and your knowledge, learning more, reading more, etc. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about some of DREI's initiatives and courses that are available for this career development. It's not, basically the talk is beyond brokerage. This talk is about brokerage, but then in real estate, as an industry offers multiple careers, and I'm sure Dr. Waters is going to talk a little bit more about these. But we have, you talk about facilities management, community association management, risk management, financial management, community leadership and governance. All these are, we have courses at Dubai Real Estate Institute that will help you focus on any of these topics if they are of interest. We also have collaborated with universities and academic institutions to further improve your academic expertise or knowledge, basically. I'm going to just mention 4 of the courses that are happening this year at DREI. One is Strategic Decision Making for Leaders. This is in collaboration with CAS Business School. It's going on in October. It's happening in October 2020. Now, this course will give you the tools and it will equip you and give you the tools to become a better decision maker as a leader in the market, basically. We have another course, which is Real Estate Development and Sustainable Design. This is done by Berkeley University in November 2020. Of course, sustainability is the buzzword for this, I think, for this age. Well, now Corona or COVID-19 is a bigger buzzword, but for now, sustainability is very important, and sustainable design is very much in the real estate. So this course handles or researches that. We also have a course which is Digital Transformation Strategy. I'm sure this is very interesting for everybody these days. We are moving to the digital age, more and more into the digital age. And I'm sure that after this period, we are moving into a new world that we are learning as we go. But this is a very interesting course. I think I will need to attend that with the Imperial College Business School. This is happening in October 2020. The University of Oxford joins us in. We have partnered with them, and they conduct the real estate program. Again, that is happening in 2020. So these are 4 of the courses that are happening this year that might be of interest to people who are maybe looking at either improving or developing their real estate skills, or looking at new or twist to their career. Again, for career path, we have DREI has initiatives. They have the Masar initiative, which is designed to connect real estate professionals with companies through an artificial intelligence technology to match the company to the professional to give a best fit. We also have the Dubai Real Estate Youth Program, where DREI looks at talented students in the and provides them with workshops and programs to involve them in the real estate business or industry sector. Dubai Real Estate Institute has also a membership, which is iDream, and this iDream, I like the name anyway. iDream is a membership. You can join through logging into the website, the REI website, and joining. Of course, the mechanism is very clear there. This membership allows you discounts. It gives you access to networking events, allows you to be more and more exposed and visible, of course. And of course, there are other benefits that you can go through on the website. Of course, again, DREI is now through the website, you can go and attend online courses, specifically courses that are certification ones that are required for renewals or for licensing. These are online. We have an e-journal, innovation centers, and camps. There's a newsletter, and coming soon is the TV digital channel that is again will be launched quite soon. These are some of the initiatives. Again, of course, all this is an addition to whatever the Dubai Real Estate Institute does with certification and mandatory courses that you have to take. We host conferences, there are free awareness sessions, and of course, real estate consultancy is part of the REI as well. For contacting DREI, this is the information, the number, the website, and we are on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and that's about it from me. I'm going to leave the floor to Dr. Michael, please.
Yeah, okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me okay.
We can.
So yeah, thank you for the invite from DREI. I just wanted to elaborate on some of the points that have already been discussed, and maybe spend a bit more time where I personally believe the opportunities are for real estate brokers to plan and evolve their careers into other areas and diversify into other areas of the real estate sector. So as it's already been said, I'm Dr. Michael Waters. I'm an associate professor in real estate at Heriot Watt Dubai campus. Just as a sort of a brief introduction to the university, we've been in Dubai for over 10 years delivering real estate education, initially at the postgraduate level. And from September 2020, we are launching a undergraduate real estate program with Edinburgh Business School and Heriot Watt University. So it's a dual delivered undergraduate, really aiming to capture young Emiratis and young school leavers to drive their careers into real estate at an earlier age. But what I want to focus on today is how big is the real estate opportunity. So I'm going to evaluate some statistics on where I think the opportunities lie, or what the data tells us where those opportunities lie. I'm also going to share with you 3 top tips or investment tips to future-proof your real estate career. I'm going to evaluate things from my own personal perspective towards the threats and the opportunities. And then hopefully at the end, you'll have seen some pathways that are interesting to you, and you can ask questions about our real estate programs if you have them. So let's look at the opportunity first. So the data on this slide is showing us, or telling us, according to Savills research, that wealth stored in real estate globally has reached 280 trillion US dollars. So that's magnitudes higher than the equities market at 188. Oil has probably come a bit lower than that now, and gold at just under 8 trillion, maybe slightly more now. But what the message from this slide is that the wealth, global wealth stored in real estate as an asset, is magnitudes higher than other financial asset classes. Dubai Land Department inform us that GDP growth as a sector, real estate sector, contributes almost 14% to the national or the local economy in Dubai. So it's a huge contributor, and therefore opportunities for careers lie within that. Then on the right-hand side, we've got some data from 2018-19 that shows the annual growth rates. The reason why I've got those up is really to show a bit of a difference between different types of real estate assets. So the commercial real estate market is performed at 7% annual growth versus, the wider general market at 5%. Although it's only 1 year, we can extrapolate information from other statistics, and we can say over a 45-year time period, we've had 39 years of positive growth in UK commercial real estate versus 6 years of negative growth. So if we're planning our careers for a 45-year period, if I can work within a commercial sector with the institutional side of the business, then perhaps that stability will also be matched in my career. So that's where I think the opportunities lie. You're entering an institutional career. So if we look at MSCI, we can see that institutional fund or amount of money that's being managed internationally is about 9 trillion US dollars, and that's grown again from previous years. PricewaterhouseCoopers have also done statistics or reports on that, and they tell us that 45 trillion US dollars will be the total stock of institutional grade real estate globally in 2020, and that's going to grow to 69 trillion dollars by 2030. So again, it's a growing part of the business. And where do you think that growth is going to take place? Well, institutions historically like safe bets. They like the core markets. They like London, New York, Frankfurt, but they're all performing at lower yields. So institutions are going to be looking at our local market, and they're going to be saying, what's the opportunity for me to invest in strong institutional grade assets in a financial global hub like Dubai? Now, if you extend, yes, some of that money is going to go to Asia, but Dubai has an opportunity to attract more institutional fund money than it has been historically. And that's where, again, if you get into the strategic advisory side and you develop your brokerage knowledge into the institutional advisory, that's where the opportunity might lie. In the last financial crisis, 2008, 2009, we saw a huge trend in international business schools where graduates were leaving their traditional banking and finance careers, and they were entering the real estate sector. That said, their generic business degree failed to equip them with the technical skills and the financial economics and specialized knowledge of a real estate postgrad program. So a good real estate practitioner needs to know about valuation. They need to know about analyzing leases, because that drives value in commercial markets. They need to know how the international fund management system works. They need to know about L&T, and they need to know about how businesses use real estate in their strategic growth. So there's key areas within a real estate master's program that equips you and complements your previous academic or professional knowledge. So that's, again, much more targeted than a general business degree. So that leads me on a bit to the top 3 investments that I think young graduates and professionals should be thinking when they choose their degrees or their academic studies. So in no particular order, I'd be looking at degrees that teach me the language of the CFO and the CEO. So the developing financial literacy is never going to do you any harm, both professionally nor personally. When we invest money for the future, it's good to have financial literacy. But even better in a business context, because then we can start speaking the same language as the CFOs and the CEOs, and we start to position ourselves within an organization to drive businesses forward through that knowledge. Then, of course, you've got enhancing your human capital. So the real estate brokers that I've met globally tell me in the first 11 seconds of viewing a property, I'll have made my mind up whether I like it or don't like it. And similarly, in other parts of our lives, and including when we apply for jobs, that process of quick, timely decisions is done. So if you invest in a degree program that is global and it is accredited, then of course you're putting yourself in a position where you can present yourself as someone who's been tested as a safe pair of hands. So an RICS qualified chartered surveyor, similar to other professional accreditations, gives you a sense of confidence when someone looks at your CV, because you've gone through that validation, that professional validation. And so it puts you in a better position to be judged positively on a piece of paper before they've met you. And then the last tip is again extending on that and saying, well, let's go global with our qualifications. Heriot-Watt University is a global university. We've got campuses in Dubai, Edinburgh, Malaysia, but also the professional accreditations. The RICS is a mark of property professionalism worldwide. So that essentially gives you, and as someone told me when I was younger, that gives you a passport to go and travel and work in many different cities. Our investment and finance MSc is dual accredited both by the RICS and the Investment Property Forum. So again, it's that particular stream where I think brokers would be more interested in entering, giving financial and investment advice to the institutional clients. So as we've already discussed already, there's a huge amount of strength within your experience as a broker that can be quickly turned into an opportunity for working with the institutional money. So from my observations over the last 10 years, brokers have the best market knowledge. They understand data. They feed into the process of valuation through that knowledge anyway. Then, of course, they've got tenacity and business development skills, excellent negotiation. There's professional ethics in what they do. And of course, again, deal making and such like. They're strong skills that with a relevant technical knowledge can start attracting, advising companies, organizations and institutions. So there's a huge amount of and a wealth of knowledge that comes from your existing work experience. The threats, and again, I don't want to be too doomsday, and these are only really my perceptions on from an economics perspective, that the real estate brokerage sector has a low barrier to entry in terms of qualifications. So normally in an economic market where you've got low barriers of entry, you have high levels of competition. So whether that's a firm or an individual, you will see market participants come in when things are strong, capture an opportunity, and that creates competition. So there's naturally a fight for the same stock when it comes to selling and trading real estate, if that's the case. Of course, all industries face some form of online disruption, and there's a lot of media discussing the impact on estate agency, on education, and various other key sectors, and that's valid. But how do we become resilient to a technological takeover, if we call it that. Well, we just need to be better advisors. We need to be more strategic with our advice, and we need to utilize technology to help us be better advisors. So if we're giving the same as what technology can do, then of course technology wins. But if we're looking at risk management, sensitivity, forecasting, scenario planning, and such like, and advising clients from a rational perspective, then of course we're beating technology. Within all industries, obviously technology breeds some level of efficiency, or should do. So there might be systems where we get the best of both worlds. Technology gives us an opportunity to reach more customers, but there may be less agents managing those. So again, we don't know what that's going to transition into, but it could be a potential threat to the agency world. And then of course, market conditions, fee competition, and the volatile salaries that brokers take home might be a more personal evaluation to then think about entering strategic careers within the institutions, which I've already said are typically more stable than the agency side. So the proposition today is asking the question: is education the opportunity, and why do I think that? Well, property surveyors and RICS qualified surveyors, they advise owners and occupiers on a range of strategic issues across the whole life cycle of real estate. I would also consider many of the facets of the industry to be recession proof. So I spoke about 45 years, 39 of them being positive and 6 being negative. And if we look on the right hand side, we've got a series of strategic roles within the property surveying disciplines that capture some of the diversity and range of things that a broker could then transition into after a 2 to 3 year qualification, masters plus RICS qualified entry point. And as I've said there, regardless of market conditions, and perhaps more so in a recession, buildings and portfolios need managing, investors need advice, and buildings need valuations. So there's always work for those graduates and those professionals. Now, just to complement what's already been discussed about further education in Dubai, as I said, we are the only face-to-face RICS accredited university in Dubai, having been here 10 years. We've also captured a lot of opportunity with the networking, with industry collaboration, with industry local case studies, and various other learning activities that we like to think mean that studying at Heriot-Watt gives you the Dubai experience. It gives you the educational benefits of an international university, but you're also studying in a dynamic city and taking lessons from what's going on in the Dubai market. So our postgraduate education is structured into 2 main semesters. The delivery is at evening and weekend, so we kind of offer you the learn while you earn education model. So 2 of those classes will be on a Friday, so morning and afternoon, and 2 of those classes will be on weekday evenings, starting at around 6:30. And then similarly in semester 2, you do another up to 4 courses, and you finish off with a research dissertation of a topic that's defined by yourselves, but mentored by an academic supervisor. So that process, whether you're full-time or part-time, is a 1 to 2 year process, and we've got various information on our website about how to enter the MSc program. And then, of course, once you've qualified, you've opened the door to obtain the RICS professional qualification, or the chartered status, which is the exemplar of real estate qualifications. And just to finish off, and trying to be a bit technological myself, if you want to find out information about our programs, you can take your mobile camera or your smartphone camera and just hover it over the QR code, and that will direct you to our website, where we've got, as I say, 3 courses, 2 postgraduate, 1 undergraduate degree, and you can find out exactly what those courses involve, what the entry requirements are, and so on and so forth. But I think that finishes my presentation. I think there's a lot of innovation going on in Dubai. It makes it an exciting place to study real estate. And of course, today's message is about extending brokerage, your career in brokerage, into more strategic institutional type employment opportunities. So thank you for listening, and I think there's a Q&A for a short while.
Yes, I'm waiting. Any questions? Saji, did we receive anything? Okay, I just have a comment, Doctor, which is, yes, you spoke about the technology basically and the digital disruption that we are experiencing on every day. And I always have this question from, you know, attendees of courses that, you know, we hear that, you know, eventually will our business or will our jobs as you know, brokerage business, will it become obsolete? And I always mention that it all depends. You spoke about adding value and the expertise that a human can bring. I think that, yes, I don't think that any machine can take the place of a person, of a human, provided that human is actually providing the service. I always give the analogy, if you know, when you call a service supplier like your phone, the mobile phone, or your bank, or any service supplier, and you get these messages, these, you know, for this press 1, for that press 2. I personally always try to press the 0 or the hash or the star, just trying to talk to somebody. The problem is that, and I always find it much more, you know, I always think, or I'm under the impression that if I talk to somebody, I'm going to be able to explain my problem or issue, and they would be able to solve it. The problem is that when you get to somebody, if that person is not competent to answer my question, this is where, you know, so it would be perfect if you could use technology as a tool rather than as a solution, okay, to knowledge and to service. It is not a solution to service. You are the solution to service. You are the one who, we are the people create systems. Systems are, you know, legalities, procedures, everything is created by people. Technology should be viewed only and should be used as a tool and not to replace the knowledge of a human being. And when it comes to brokerage, I also say that this is a very emotional, when somebody buys something, whether they're buying a business, whether they're buying residential, this is all an extremely emotional experience, and you know, the value of human interaction is very important. I don't think you can, yeah, there's a lot of value to be added by a broker if they are doing their job properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I agree. There's a bit of a question coming through. I don't know if you want to.
There is. Yes, of course. How do you see the broker's future career path accelerating despite this health crisis that changed the norms to digital and financial shortage? How to help the brokers to stay positive and motivated? I think, you know, what I was talking about, I think somehow answers this. Knowledge, expert, you know, specialization, I think, is extremely important. What do you think, Doctor?
Well, I think, you know, obviously I've taken the view of long-term career planning. So again, if I take a 45-year period, and if I entered the real estate market in one of those 6 negative years, would that have stopped me wanting to develop my career in real estate? Possibly not. So if it's something you're passionate about, and I guess a lot of people here today are, then, you know, a 1 year is similar. You know, in 2009, this is when I came to Dubai, and I was at conferences and I was telling people, we have this fantastic real estate program. It was like, you know, it was such a bad time for me to come to Dubai and try and launch an educational degree, because it was challenging times. We got through those. We've seen a huge amount of development into some of the areas that our students have looked at. So real estate investment trusts came into the marketplace. Now we're talking about how digital technology, Dubai is wanting to elevate itself globally as a leader in blockchain technology, and how real estate is being traded, and how we break down the traditional forms of financing those deals. So there's a lot of excitement if you look beyond this short-term pain, if we want to call it that. And real estate as an investor, as well as a career planning, is a long-term. It's a long-term process.
That's a very important point. Yes.
And the courses that DREI do, and have completely raised the bar in the way that people perceive brokers in the market, which is fantastic. So there's a lot to be positive about, and I think it is easy to get sucked into sort of the doom and gloom, but there is a lot of excitement around, and we'll be finding solutions to these problems and not brick walls.
Because again, coming back to what we mentioned earlier, is that there are so many aspects to this question. First of all, let's all remember that real estate is a necessity. It's not a luxury. It will never go away. The need for real estate, the demand for real estate, whether it is to purchase or to manage or to maintain or to, all of that is always going to be there. Unless we start living in bubbles, I don't know, but still that will probably become real estate as well. So this is very important. This will not go. It is not a fashion that will go. Very importantly, again, is the motivation. I think people at this time, motivation is extremely important. For a real estate broker, motivation has always been important, because sometimes people, you make a big deal, you finalize a deal, or you transfer and you make basically a sale, and you're so happy, but then you spend, let's say, a month or a period where you have no work at all, that you can become demotivated. And self-motivation is extremely important. That's where I find education and academic environments basically provide a lot of motivation, because it generates new ideas, it takes you out of your rut, it reminds you of things that you probably knew all along. It's just triggered a thought or an idea, and it keeps you going on. Of course, I really believe that people should stay updated with the digital transformation and this digital disruption. We cannot become dinosaurs. We will be out of this, So staying updated is important. Doing what makes you motivated. The period we're passing is an exception. It will pass. This too shall pass, and we have to remind ourselves of that, and work at learning as much as we can, and watching DREI Talks and Harriet Watt's presentations, and that's it.
There's a few more questions I think that are coming in.
Yes, there are.
Starting with
go ahead, please, Doctor.
No, there's one at the top there about brokerage. Is the brokerage business challenges affected all over the world with the same level of risk? It's interesting when you discuss with colleagues and international colleagues as well. It's easy to think we're dealing with these challenges in isolation, but actually, we're not. There are, it's difficult to say the same level of risk, because all markets are at different points in their development and their cycle. So more established markets perhaps can weather the storms better, but Dubai now has almost 20 years of internationalization within it, so it's not a young market anymore. There's been lessons that have been learned over time. The only challenge with brokerage, and I think in any market, is that low barrier to entry of we can open up these industries as quickly as they close down, and that creates challenges. But regulation and licensing helps uphold standards and professionalism. A lot of development of international best practice in RICS legislation has come in through the DREI and the Dubai Land mandating those processes. So again, that brings international confidence. So if, as I said, institutions coming to Dubai, there's two things that they need. That they need the right asset and they need the right legislation. So I think we have both of those. So I think we should be in a better position to attract the large sums of investment there. Sorry, that was a bit of a ramble, but
That's okay. It happens.
And then education is sometimes not enough. Sometimes people need mentors, and of course, yeah. So at different stages there are mentoring that goes on. I know the RICS qualification has an evolved mentoring system behind it through professional practice, and a system of mentoring younger, as I said,
and coaching, yes.
I think from our perspective at Heriot, what we would be really interested in working with DREI to work with young Emiratis who sort of may have family relationships with real estate, but can actually develop a global career. I think that would be really interesting.
Right. Yes, definitely. We still have quite a few questions. Importance of online education through DREI from Lara. She said this is a comment. Of course, differentiating yourself is very important. That's why I spoke a little bit about expertise. Maybe I mentioned it. Becoming an expert in an area and specializing in something. This is very important. You mentioned commercial. I also looked at the slide you had. I saw that agricultural real estate is also 7%. So that again could be something. I know in Dubai is maybe, but it's again that's another rumble. But
it depends on the planning side of things,
exactly,
where the opportunity lies there. Yeah.
There's a question from Rifat Nasir. How digital platforms can reduce the role of a broker? I don't think they can reduce, they can aid. Look at it as a tool to aid you in your chores, the ability. Imagine life before technology, where you had to go and knock doors and do all that. Now you have social media, you have all these digital tools that help you to reach your clients and to virtual visits and viewings. Dubai Land Department is Andrea have provided many tools to do the digital transfers and things like that. However, I don't think a person, the expertise, if that person is really an expert, will be replaced by people. And as I said, this is a very emotional transaction. So people do need help, do need some kind of acknowledgement, of confirmation that they're doing the right thing. More so with residential, but even with commercial, provided you are the expert on commercial. So I think that is, again, we have, again, as Laura is correct, digital disruption will eliminate people who are not working on themselves. So it's very important that we keep learning. And we do have a DREI membership, which is iDream. I think I spoke about that. Anything else? Oh, mentorship. Okay. Yes, definitely. This is quite important at these days, at these times. Yes.
There's a question from Laura about the chart that I showed, and she said, due to COVID-19, don't you think the percentages will change, especially in commercial and retail? Well, look at the impact COVID-19 had on the equities market. It fell 30%. Real estate as a asset is slower to transform itself through, so it doesn't react initially to short-termism. And particularly the commercial markets have some safety because there's income coming through the leases that have been agreed and so on and so forth. So property is obviously not immune to the wider economy. It can never insulate itself away from the wider economy. There'll be those good years and there'll be the bad years, but because it's got the dual nature, so there's the capital growth and there's the income, and not every asset, you know, on that chart has those characteristics. So oil and gold are more price movement based, and Bitcoin the same. So it's got that dual purpose to sort of weather those. So institutional investors that have longer leases steady themselves through the tough years, and that's why commercial real estate is a strong asset class. Now, of course, the retail sector was struggling. It was looking at technology and the impact of e-retail, and I did a similar webinar a few weeks ago on that. And like all trends, we can overshoot the impact of things because that's, you know, human psychology. So yes, in any sector, whether it's e-resilience or it's the impact of a short-term global pandemic, there'll be winners and there'll be losers. But on the whole, the strength of the message is that commercial real estate has stood the test of time and has had strong investment credentials that get smoothed out over a longer period of time.
Yes, but where is commercial headed when large corporations are restructuring? As polls have demonstrated, employees are more productive working from home.
Well, I don't agree that people are more productive during this time. I think if you've got a family, Laura, you'll know how challenging it is to be productive and balance everything else within a space. And no disrespect to that, but I haven't heard that people are more productive. I think it's opened. There'll be business practices that change because, again, after every event, there's lessons that we want to stick with, and there's things that we want to forget.
If I can add something, if the world goes totally to work from home, I think you will need an extra room in your home to dedicate as a which we can call commercial. I mean, that's how, you know, you will need extra, you know, you can't just keep if it's going to be on a long run. I think people are going to find that they will need to have some dedicated space, whether it is in their home or somewhere, you know. So anyway.
But the main message is really, you know, there are opportunities to take forward your career in real estate, and the bridge between a brokerage career and an institutional framed career is not as large as you might think. So within a 2 to 3 year time period, you can actually train yourself and you can be working globally. You got to take your local qualifications and make them global is the main message.
Yes, definitely. There was one more question. I think that's the last one we'll take because we are not question, it was a comment that Dubai Land Department should step up its efforts to promote investment in Dubai real estate, especially now that the prices are lower and there is no new project launches. Yeah, well, correct, but you know, we're still in the this I will leave to Dubai Land Department. They are doing lots of efforts in doing, you know, in actually promoting Dubai. And I, having lived in Dubai for over 30 something years, you know, when you live for so long, you become, you understand the whole, you know, the ticking of the place. I think Dubai is promoting itself in all aspects. UAE in general is promoting itself in all different aspects. You know, when we do very well on the health sector, this will generate interest in the Dubai market. People who hadn't heard about the UAE now are hearing how well the UAE has handled the COVID-19 situation. And once all this is over, I'm sure we will find some added interest or new interest in this market. If you have nothing else, Doctor, I think we'll wrap up.
Just thank you for everyone who's joined and spent the time signing in. It was hopefully a useful discussion that's given you some avenues to explore, whether that's with the DREI or with us as a university.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. It was quite interesting. And thank you everybody who's joined. Thank you, Dr. Waters, for this insightful, and lots of knowledge we gained. And thank you everybody for joining. And see you soon next time on the next DREI Talks. Please join. Thank you.